What's going on, everyone? Earlier today, the report came out that Kevin Durant reiterated his trade request, that he wants to leave from Brooklyn. He also stated that the only way he would stay is if the Brooklyn Nets owner Joe Tsai decided to fire Sean Marks and the coach Steve Nash. And I did a whole video breaking that down and talking about that. I will link that video down in the description below because there is some new information that has just came out that I wanted to talk about. So without going heavily into what I already spoke on, link down in the description below. Go check it out after this video. Joe Tsai recently responded over on Twitter in regards to the Kevin Durant demands. And this is what Joe Tsai had to say. He said, "Our front office and coaching staff have my support. We will make decision in the best interest of the Brooklyn Nets." So that is from the owner himself, who has been very open in public. I mean, Joe Tsai is the guy that said, "I would rather have a 40-win team than the team I have right now." And he's somebody that is showing his support. I mentioned in the past video that Sean Marks is Joe Tsai's guy. Like, that's why he hired him and put him in that position. Steve Nash was the coach that everybody wanted, that Kevin Durant wanted. You know, they got rid of the coach previously to go put him in position for Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. And it's just, Joe Tsai is not going to play these games. And this is what I was talking about in the last video. Joe Tsai is a businessman. He knows sometimes you just got to cut your losses. You cut them and you move on. A bad investment, you don't dwell on it, you move on and you go to the next one. And that is what Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving are. They're bad investments. And to put them in a position to where it only makes Kevin Durant look terrible. Kevin Durant gave them an ultimatum that they can't do. Because if Joe Tsai caves and fires the GM and fires the coach, how does that look from an organization standpoint? How does that look for Joe Tsai as a business owner, as the owner of the Brooklyn Nets? That makes him look terrible. It makes him look like he is caving to whatever Kevin Durant wants. And they've already given Kevin Durant everything he's asked for. Anything he's asked for, they have done whatever they could to do that. I just think Kevin Durant is gone. And now we got the confirmation from Joe Tsai that they are going to do whatever is best for the franchise. And right now, what is best for the franchise is trading Kevin Durant. Now, where is he going to go? Well, the first option is reported by Shams, which is the Toronto Raptors, that they are still heavily pursuing Kevin Durant. Problem is, they don't want to give up Scottie Barnes. So do they finally cave and give in Scottie Barnes? Do they keep Scottie Barnes? If you end up trading, say, Siakam and OG, I mean, that's great for the Nets, but if you're the Raptors, I don't think Scottie Barnes and Kevin Durant are a contender. I just don't think that that's enough to win the Eastern Conference. Especially Kevin Durant, he's only played 90 games in the last 3 years. So, like, how many games is he going to play? And I think the Raptors are too young, too talented to make a move like this and ruin all of that depth and talent. I think if you could give up I would personally rather give up Scottie Barnes if you had to, just because, yeah, Scottie Barnes could end up being great, but I think Siakam, he's a better 2 option, and I think OG's already a number 3 on this team, so you don't have to make any adjustments, you don't have to make any changes, and currently you're upgrading Kevin Durant for Scottie Barnes. So if you could put a package together around Scottie Barnes, keep Siakam and OG, I think you do that. I know many Raptor fans probably feel otherwise and do not want them to trade Scottie Barnes. But if Toronto is really interested in acquiring Kevin Durant, that's probably the route they're going to go, because the other option is Scottie Barnes and Kevin Durant, which I don't think is a contender right now. Scottie Barnes is too young. He has all the talent in the world, yes, but he's not a guy that currently can lead your team to a championship. And he's not going to be the vocal leader because he's a rookie or will be a second year, things like that. So I don't see the Raptors getting Kevin Durant unless they trade Scottie Barnes. Now, the second option is the Miami Heat, which Miami makes absolutely no sense to me. Not because Kevin Durant wouldn't work in Miami. I think that he would absolutely work. But, like, Miami doesn't have anything worth of value that would be enticing to the Brooklyn Nets. Like, yeah, Tyler Hero, but he doesn't play defense. He's been a 6th man. Even Pat Riley told him, you're not going to be a starter unless you become a 2-way player. I don't think that Tyler Hero, as great as he is your number 1 option. I put him in the category of, like, your Donovan Mitchells, your Jamal Murrays, guys like that, where, yeah, he's great. He could go and get you 25 a night, But if he's your number one guy that's leading the charge, you're not winning a championship. Unless like your other player is like somebody like Luka, that is like the equivalent of 2 stars. So then Tyler Hero, yeah, if he's your number 2 guy in that scenario, yes. But I think Tyler Hero is best suited as like your bench guy or your third option. And I know Miami Heat fans, because I've said that in the past, and everyone thinks that Tyler Hero's the next Michael Jordan, but in reality, he's not. In reality, he is not. He can't even make the starting rotation of the Miami Heat. You know, they're starting Strus and Vincent over him. Like, that's not a good sign if Tyler Hero is that great and that good. And I just don't think the Brooklyn Nets want a bad contract in Duncan Robinson, a bad contract in Kyle Lowry, and then Tyler Hero and maybe a couple draft picks. I just don't think Miami has enough to go get somebody in Kevin Durant. And that brings us to the third team, which is the one that makes the most sense and is the most likely and was reported to be the number one option right now for a Kevin Durant trade, and that is the Boston Celtics. I mean, nobody is given a better package than the Boston Celtics can give. I mean, the Boston Celtics can give Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart, Derek White, and like 3 first-round picks. That's better than almost any trade that they could get. I mean, that might even be better than the Phoenix Suns trade if they gave up Bridges, Cam Johnson, and DeAndre Ayton. Because you're getting a guy in Jaylen Brown who is proven, who was like a 20-point-a-game scorer in the fourth quarter of a finals and was like single-handedly trying to keep them in games. So you got that go-to guy. There are a lot of questions with Jaylen Brown, especially when it comes to his dribbling, but he's still very young. He's only going to improve. He's only going to get better. Marcus Smart. I mean, the Brooklyn Nets would still be a legit playoff team if they did the Boston Celtics trade. Boston upgrades to Kevin Durant. They'd still have enough guys and pieces to still be one of the top teams, and it's a win for Boston. If you're the Nets, you're getting your core to build around. You'd still have Ben Simmons, and then you trade Kyrie Irving to the Lakers. If you could work out a 3-team deal to where you could get Miles Turner, I've talked about this. That's an incredible team. I mean, think about it. You could have a starting 5 of Marcus Smart, say Seth Curry or Joe Harris. You'd still have Jaylen Brown, Ben Simmons, and Miles Turner. That is a great defensive, offensive style team. That is one of the better teams in the Eastern Conference. And you'd still have guys like, Seth Curry or Joe Harris off the bench, Patty Mills, TJ Warren, Nick Claxton, like all of these guys. Like they still would be like 10 guys deep. And so this would be a huge deal and a great way to kind of retool rather than rebuild. And you can't be much worse than the Brooklyn Nets were last year. They were a play-in team, and they got swept in the first round. How much worse can you be? And Boston is going to upgrade in Kevin Durant, and Brooklyn's still going to at least be a playoff team. I don't think that if you do the Celtics deal, I don't think you're a play-in team. I think you're, at least a 6 seed in the Eastern Conference. So that's just kind of my take. I think he ends up on Boston. I think it's a matter of when, not if at this point. This mess has just gotten so big and so carried away. Joe Tsai has no choice but to trade him at this point. I mean, I still think it might take a little time just because they're going to want to get the best deal, the best package, this, that, and the other. But I think ultimately Kevin Durant's gone. I just think you can't keep Kevin Durant at this point. You got to move off of him. You got to trade him. And if you trade him, Kyrie needs to be traded too. There's no way that they're going to keep Kyrie and end up trading Kevin Durant and then end up losing Kyrie Irving for nothing. So I just think it's going to be Kevin Durant goes to Boston and Kyrie goes to the Lakers. Those are the 2 best options right now on the table for the Brooklyn Nets, and I just think that they have to go that route. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question on to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section below. What do you think about this whole mess? What do you think about Joe Tsai saying that, he has the full support in his coaching staff and his front office? That's not a good sign for Kevin Durant, right? I mean, he basically just picked it, made his choice. He just picked his side. So I think that is very telling. And I think Kevin Durant is going to be traded sooner rather than later. I think that it'll take at least another week or so. But it could happen tomorrow. Who knows? But I think they're going to try to get the best package. We're still about a month and some change away from training camp, so they don't need to completely rush. But you got to imagine, if you're the owner, Joe Tsai, you just want this to be over. You just want to cut your losses, move on, get whatever assets you can get, and start building for your future. That's what they need to do. And I think that the Boston trade is the best scenario for Brooklyn. I think it still makes them competitive. It gives them everything they need because this team cannot tank. And then you trade Kyrie to the Lakers, but maybe you can try to get, a 3-team deal where you get some other assets, get some other pieces. Maybe you're getting some pieces from the Knicks or the Jazz or something like that. I just think that that would be the best case scenario for Brooklyn. You just get a couple rotation guys or get, like I said, a Miles Turner. A Miles Turner and maybe like a Kendrick Nunn for Kyrie, something like that, just to like make salaries match and stuff. But anyway, however you feel about it, I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section below. One last little shameless plug is I did start As It Stands Lakers. It is a channel just like this, dedicated to only the Lakers, because the Lakers are my favorite team. And on this channel, As It Stands, I talk about all teams, all sports, stuff like that. We have football season coming up, so I'm definitely looking forward to that as well. And I just wanted to make a dedicated channel to the Lakers to give the ins and outs. Now, all the big stuff, all the big news and stuff, I will still post here on this channel. But if you want all the ins and outs and just rumors and theories and just discussions just strictly on the Lakers, link down in the description or in the comment section. Go check out the channel, subscribe to the channel. I'd really appreciate it. That being said, hit that like button. Helps me out a lot, lets me know you enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. If you're not subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button, followed by the bell notification. Stay up to date with all things sports. Join this wonderful community and all of our discussions. I'll see you all in the next one. Thank you.